Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. Listen, there are going to be folks that want to have survival bags, get home bags, bug out bags, zombie apocalypse bags. Hell, you've even seen some stuff where I put together like mini survival kits, but a lot of people don't think about home first. And I think that it's very important to be prepared to bug in, whether that be because of an emergency or because of some type of political disaster or something like that. It's more important to be prepared in your house than being prepared outside of your house. So I bring you the Blackout bag. This is a reflective apparel, high visibility, waterproof, safety gear duffel bag. 3M reflective tape, 100% polyester. Of course, it's lime in color, super bright, 24 by 24 by 11. I mean, there's a few features about the bag. I didn't buy the bag because I intend to take it outside the house, but there is a ID card holder for whatever reason you need to have something out here. Has a couple of pockets on the outside. We'll talk about what I keep on the outside of the bag. A couple of actually pretty sturdy loops for the actual shoulder strap. Let's talk about what I keep on the outside of the bag. So if we look here, first thing is I keep a stream light. This is the ProTac HL5X, super powerful flashlight. This thing lays down tons and tons of lumens. This is to only be used by myself or my wife if we have an emergency situation. Last year here in the DFW Metroplex, we had a whiteout situation which took our grid down. People had power outages. People had water pipes being busted and all that type of stuff. My preparedness was able to keep us firewood, keep us warm, keep us with our own source of lighting and comfort. So just having these small things are important. So let's continue looking on the outside of the bag here. So the one singular pocket that has a zipper here, I keep this pretty simple. I have 4 of these little hand crank flashlights. These things are pretty cool. They work well. They hold their battery for, they're not the brightest things ever, but these are going to be bright enough if you're walking into your room by yourself, if you need to walk into your closet, look for an outfit, look for some clothes. They have the ability to charge via, solar, and they also can be charged via hand crank. So 2 different ways to charge these bad boys. So 4 of those in here for the 2 oldest kiddos, my wife and myself. Also in this pocket, we keep a RAV powered 10,000 milliamp hour battery bank. Any battery bank will do. I would say at least 10,000 milliamp hours. If you're in a blackout situation and cell phone towers still work, then the ability to use your phones might become very important. Also keep the cordage in here that allows for all of our phones to work. I have a Google phone, so I need a USB Type-C. My wife has a iPhone, so we have all that here. Also in the bag, we keep a Swiss Army knife. This is primarily for my wife to be able to grab and use just in case she needs it, but it's just stored right on the outside of the bag. And we keep a very simple lighter. That way we can use other items which are inside the bag, so we're not digging around looking for stuff in the bag. Another reason we keep the flashlights on the outside of the bag is so that we can use them to look on the inside of the bag. But I got a highly reflective bag for a couple of reasons. One, if I'm digging this out of our closet, which is underneath our stairs, this bag is very easy to see even in a blackout situation. 2, you can still see pretty well in here and not concern yourself with not being able to find what you need. So let's get in here real quick. So we're gonna go through first off, I'm just gonna show you how my bag looks top down real quick. Then I'm gonna pull the stuff out. So this is what my bag looks like, completely decked out. So it looks like a lot of chaos, but it's not that bad. So, all right. So first off, let's talk about the med kits I keep in here. So I do keep 2 different med kits in the bag itself. One of them is by Urban Medical Gear. This is more of a high trauma kit. And this one here is going to have the items that I'm trained to use. So it's going to have your Israeli bandages. It's going to have your SWAT tourniquets. It's going to have your CPR masks and chem lights, gauze, all that type of stuff that just in case there's a very big emergency, then I'm able to deploy this kit. Urban Medical Gear uses the VanQuest medical bag to deploy their kits. On the outside of this kit also, I do keep a Leatherman Raptor tool. Of course, this is good for cutting clothes. It has a seatbelt cutter, which we're not in a vehicle. But, so just a lot of different tools all in one in this thing. It has a little ruler. It has the ability to, like I said, cut through some jeans or a shirt. It has a like a rip hook, just in case you needed to use that for whatever reason. And then obviously it has a belt clip just in case you want to just walk around with this thing connected to you. So also I keep a more of an ouchie boo-boo type kit. I think I picked this up at REI, but they sell these things all over the place. You can buy them on Amazon. So this is the type of kit. It's waterproof. And, you know, my daughter could deploy this kit. This has your Band-Aids, your gauze. We've also put aspirin in here. We put Tylenol. So lots of just more simple type items for more ouchie boo-boos or somewhere where to cut themselves. We have this as well. If you've seen my other videos, you know I have a junk drawer medical kit, and of course there's med kits throughout my house, but this is the one that stays specifically with the Blackout bag. Now also in the Blackout bag, I keep 4 of these little lanterns. These things come in multiple colors. These are just some lanterns that you can use. You know, kind of have your own little personal lantern, which my Blackout kit, yes, is for a function of survival, but it's also a function of keeping my kids' sanity in check. So these things are really simple. So basically all you have to do to deploy this thing is you simply pick it up here, and once you open it, boom, it automatically illuminates itself. So as soon as you open it up, it is illuminated, and then when you close it, it turns itself off. Real simple functioning, and it runs off of, unlike a lot of lanterns, this thing runs off of AA batteries. You guys know how I feel about AA or AAA only. These are awesome. So now my 6-year-old, my 13-year-old, my wife, myself, we all have a lantern. And in a blackout situation, what I learned last year is that it's still important for everyone to have their piece of the survival. They need to feel like they are participating in the survival, and this is a type of item that helps with that. Now, we keep a lot of hand warmers in here just to pull a couple of them out. Super simple. These things came in handy really quickly just to keep hands warm, and we were kind of bundled up and under our blankets and all that good stuff. We keep a bunch of emergency candles in here. So you did see that little lighter on the outside. These things can burn 115 hours. And in our emergency situations, I have so many of these. I light them and I leave them on. There is no hesitation about it. I don't care how long they take. We also have the soy wax candles that we use as well. But just having emergency candles that can burn a very long time is a good thing. 115 hours is more than 4 days. So that's really good. An emergency radio is incredibly important. You guys absolutely have got to check out the Midland NOAA emergency radio. This has been the best emergency radio I have ever owned, other than this old school radio I had from like the late 80s that was like built like a tank. This is probably a close second. Of course, like a lot of emergency radios, you can charge this via solar powered. Has a huge flashlight on the side. You can crank operate it on the back if you need to hand crank it. And then also you still have the options for charging it here on the side with a micro USB-C cable, which is important. I had that cable earlier. And you can also plug in a headphone jack if you don't want the noise coming out the actual speakers. You can plug in a headphone jack, and this is a battery bank, so you can plug in your own cable and tap into the power of it. And so it just has plenty of different bands on here you can use, AM, FM, and the weather band. It's very big tactile buttons. That's what I like about it. Like, you can easily just listen to that. Very, very clicky buttons, which makes it easy to use. Now, I'm going to show you some emergency drinking water. This is not a part of this Blackout bag in its entirety. I use 5-gallon jugs, which are manual crank. We also have them that can come out of an electric source if I decide to hook them to my generator. If you don't have 5-gallon jugs or gallon of water, at a minimum, go out, buy a pack of the Daytrex emergency drinking water. So the first thing we did in our emergency situation last year was fill every tub in the house. A standard bathtub will hold approximately 400 gallons of water. Your big garden tubs are 600, 700 gallons of water. That's a lot of water that you can boil and you can use. So that's one source of water. And then also having a gallon of water and 5-gallon jugs around the house are important. And then just keeping these for like an all-out emergency, like your pipes bust so you can't even fill your tub, you run out of gallon water, something like that. My house was strategically chosen for a reason as well. You don't have to go as extreme as I did. You know, my house is located right next to a creek, so I can tap into that and drain and purify that water as well. So we have a lot of different options here. Still very important for the opportunity to actually be able to charge devices. This is a solar powered charger. Basically, we stick this thing outside at the beginning of the day during the power outages, and we grab the sun, showing that it's a full power. Then we can utilize this thing via under here, and we can plug up our devices. And this has a battery bank so that we can use this as well, just in case our battery bank goes out. What I primarily use this for is to charge my battery bank, which sounds kind of weird, but so I'll plug this up to the battery bank, that 10,000 milliamp hour battery. So that way I have kind of power 24 hours a day. So next thing we have here is a little bit of entertainment just to keep folks, from going completely crazy. We got some standard cards. We like to play Go Fish. So we always keep a bunch of these unopened. Some are open. I know my girls have gone through them and tore them apart. So it's important to have some of those, a set of dominoes, just to keep our minds busy and we're not just completely sitting there bored out of our minds. So if you're in a blackout situation, it's highly likely that you're at the house, and I would hope that you have food stores, in your pantry or something like that. But in your actual kit itself, if you want to, you can keep some of the Daytrex meals. I have MREs in mine. Strip these down. We can use these how we see fit. Cold weather MREs just have more calories than a normal MRE. Food sources is important. Another thing about my house, which is why we chose it, is that it runs off of gas. So even during that blackout last year, for all 4 days, I was able to light our stove and still cook. So that was a big thing for us. But if you have an electric stove or something like that, you're going to want to know if there's food source, whether that be a camp stove that runs off of propane, or a larger propane tank that you can cook, you can grill outside, something like that. You're going to want a food source. Next thing we keep is a bunch of snap light or chem lights in the bag. And these are big because, obviously these things you can, we like to snap these and put these on our stairwell. And what that does is as we walk up and down the stairs, we don't have to worry about tripping over a candle and lighting the house on fire, but we can light several of these a day. One thing we learned last year is that for the most part, we do have a lot of hygiene gear, but kids being kids, sometimes they don't tell you when they're running low on something. So we keep a couple of hygiene kits in this bag as well. But there are times where my 6-year-old and my 13-year-old fail to tell us they're out of toothpaste, they're out of lotion, they're out of whatever. And so now we can give them a kit and it will sustain them for a few days. So, you got all sorts of stuff in here. Mouthwash, you got lotion, you got razors, we have shampoos, you got your deodorant, your loofahs, you got your feminine hygiene products. So your male-centered kit for those of you that have teenage boys or young preteens or boys that just don't tell you when they're running out of crap. So similar concept. Both of these kits I just bought on Amazon, fully kitted out. These are actually pretty good. So the same type of stuff. You got your deodorants. You have more shaving cream that's more centered towards your face. Toothpaste, toothbrush. You got your body washes, Dove for men, whether it be yourself or somebody in your house. You're day 3 into an emergency. You can't go down to the Walmart because physically you can't get there because of ice or snow. Also in the kit, I keep some Right in the Rain pads. Now, the thing I learned that these were important last year is there was times when we were listening on the radio and we wanted to quickly jot notes about what was going on, and we were kind of scavenging through the house just to find a pen and pad. So we keep these in the kit from now on. All right, so also we keep a bunch of emergency blankets, more like bivy sacks in here, and these also have whistles on them. I got the high bright orange ones so that I can see my family even in the house, which we normally all sleep in one room, but we never know. Also keep paracord, completely unused 550 paracord, 100 feet of it. This was useful last year. I had some I used. I actually had to go and physically chop firewood from a pecan tree that's near my house, and I was able to lash the pecan actual wood together before I walked it over to my house. So that was really useful. I mean, that's it, man. What do you keep in your blackout kit? Do you have a blackout kit? Like, what happens when the lights go out at your house? Do you guys just kind of sit around and look at each other? You might want to make sure you got something for those situations. And listen, this is your second to last chance to enter into the giveaway for the Benchmade Boost, the federal government edition. This one is my personal one, so you can see it's been used. Got a little bit of scratches on the blade there, but there's still the brand new one. Bring you in a little bit so you can check this thing out. Brand new one, unused, ready to be shipped off and sent to whoever, you know, is the lucky winner. And so you comment on today's video, somewhere incorporated in your comment, use the word Battalion. Even if you're commenting about the video, just make sure you incorporate the word Battalion. You can get this awesome partially assisted opening knife. Has a little bit of serration on there, which is good for cutting cordage, 550 cord, rope, stuff like that. And then the rest of the blade is not serrated, completely drop point. S30V steel. It has this olive and khaki colorway because this is the federal government exclusive edition. I love this thing. I carry it all the time. You can switch the pocket clips around to whatever way you want. I like to carry blade tip up, but however you see fit. So you can comment on today's video and a video that I drop next week as well. Now, for the actual drawing of the name, I'm going to do that on Instagram. So if you want to actually see my daughter draw the name out of the box, make sure you're following me on Instagram. If this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. For everybody else, we'll speak soon.